productive habits right. We want to master our daily habits so we can set ourselves up for success. To begin the conversation, if you will, please, family, I want you to comment below, change your life. If you're unable to make that comment in the chat, I want you to verbalize that statement, change your life. That's our objective, right? Surely you did not enter into this week expecting everything to be the same. Now, I'm quite sure you have this desire to be greater, to accomplish more, and do more amazing things, which is going to require some level of change. And this is something that so many of us often run away from, right? Most people are anxious to change their situations, but unwilling to change themselves. But we, as extraordinary individuals, as success warriors, some of us may be entrepreneurial soldiers, right? These overcomers that tune into these conversations, we must make the conscious decision that we are going to change. We're not running away from the change. We're going to embrace it, right? We're not going to be intimidated by the change. We are going to step into it with boldness and lead with courage to create and initiate positive changes in our lives. But it's important for us to understand, family, changing your life is going to require you to change your habits. In fact, I was reading a study the other day, a study out of Duke University, where psychologists estimated 60% of our behavior is repetitive. Again, 60% of what you do every single day, you do it the very next day. It's habitual, right? And the reason why we have these patterns and we develop these habits is simply because our mind is always searching for ways to simplify processes. Our mind is always searching for outcomes that are predictable and results that are consistent, whether those results are good or bad. Our mind is designed in a way to keep us safe, to keep us comfortable. Regardless of what we do, it wants to make sure you stay alive. So it's always searching for ways to simplify processes. And this is why we establish habits, right? Think about what you've done this morning. I'm quite sure it was very similar to what you did last week, right? Maybe you woke up at the same time. Maybe you had the same morning routine. Maybe you ate the same thing for breakfast. Maybe you've traveled to work and you took the same exact commute. We all have these patterns and habits that we have established. In fact, over the years, we each have set and established these practices and conditions and established habits that determine how well every area of our life works. Now, the challenge is we can often get locked in, like unconsciously, to what I call self-defeating behavior patterns that often inhibit our growth and limit our success. But here's where we can leverage this to our advantage. We can leverage the power of habit, right? By developing productive practices and successful habits that align us with what we're aiming to experience in life. Ultimately, our vision, our purpose, and our goals. Now, what's going to lead us into doing this, family, is to build awareness around our daily habits. Comment below, build awareness. I tell many leaders, self-awareness is the first step to self-empowerment. If you want to be empowered, you have to start becoming aware of what you're thinking, the emotional states that are influencing your behavior, and your daily actions, the things that you do consistently. So again, what's going to help us lead into this week developing successful practices and effective habits is building awareness around how we are showing up. Here's a quick question that I challenge you to ask yourself. Are your daily habits moving you closer to where you aim to be in life or further away from your goals and your dreams? I think that's worth repeating, right? Let that sink in for a moment and really take a time or a moment of self-reflection and ask yourself, are my daily behaviors, right? My daily habits, what I do consistently, is it moving closer to where I want to be or further away from the life that I'm aiming to experience? It's important for us to place an eye, right? To place our consciousness and awareness on what we're doing every single day and really holding ourselves accountable and making the conscious decision that I'm going to eliminate this, even though it may be comfortable, it is familiar to me. Just because it's familiar to you doesn't mean it's right for you, family. We ultimately have to make the executive decision. I'm going to eliminate this from my life because I don't want to sacrifice the great and do something good. I want to live a great lifestyle, right? I want to live a great life and create greater outcomes and greater results. So therefore, I have to remove myself from the limiting behaviors, the self-sabotaging patterns, and the negative habits that may be hindering me from experiencing everything that I can gain access to, right? Everything. So for example, let's say, for instance, you have developed this habit of staying up way beyond your bedtime, right? Like maybe you're scrolling through news feeds, right? Looking at your cell phone. And one habit that you could begin to adopt is really focusing on sleep and rest so you can wake up effectively, right? Or maybe you have this habit of eating out every single night, even though it's convenient for you. You've developed this habit of eating fast food. Now, it may be convenient, but it's not necessarily nourishing to your body or maybe nourishing to your pocketbook, so to speak, right? So maybe focusing in on how you can start developing habits that are built around creating a nourishing menu, right, or a nourishing diet that will help support the health that you're aiming to experience in the life that you are living, right? Let's say, for instance, you have a tendency to be late for every single meeting. You have a tendency to be late for your job, or you're late to certain things that are important to you. We want to be mindful and hold ourselves accountable and say, hey, this is not serving me. It's not going to help me get to my next level, right? Start building awareness around how you are showing up day in and day out, because here's why it's important. Whatever habits you have established up until this point right now, this is what's determining your current level of results and ultimately dictating what direction your life goes. So it's so very important, family, that we break the habits that are breaking us, that are hindering us from experiencing everything life has to offer. So as I wrap up, here's 3 things I want us to focus on as we step into this week. Number 1, I've already mentioned it. Let's start becoming mindful of how we are showing up. Become mindful of your daily habits, right? The key to progress is you building awareness around how you are showing up. Become mindful of what you do every single day. Become mindful of your morning routine. Become mindful of what you do in your free time, in your leisure time. Become mindful of how often you're checking social media. Become mindful of the things that you're doing that may be hindering you from moving your life forward. And the second one I want you to do and focus on, number 2, is to identify those limiting beliefs and those limiting habits, so to speak, that are hindering you from reaching new levels in your life. Identify, hey, I've developed this pattern and it's not necessarily serving me. I've developed this daily practice and it's not benefiting me. It's not aligning me with where I aim to be. And make a conscious decision that you're going to actively work to release yourself from this habit. And this isn't always easy, right? Maybe during a later broadcast, we'll break down the psychology behind our habits, right? Like what's really happening right here in our brain, from the cue and the trigger that actually initiates the process for you to engage in the habit and the reward that you receive from you engaging in that particular daily action or that behavior pattern, right? There's a lot of science behind that. And once we gain understanding around the psychology of this, we can start leveraging that knowledge in productive ways to help us build more productive habits. But because time is of the essence this Monday morning, we'll save that conversation for a later broadcast. But again, number 1, become mindful of how you're showing up. Number 2, identify at least one habit that you need to release that's not serving you and getting closer to your goals and your dreams. Then number 3, select one habit that you could begin to adopt and work at it for the next 30 days. That's going to align you with your vision, your purpose, and your goals, right? Instead of scrolling through social media at night, invest 15 minutes in reading a book, right? Instead of scrolling through your phone as you wake up first thing in the morning, develop a morning routine that builds clarity around your goals. That puts you in a mental state where you're effective and able to show up and be responsive to life rather than reacting to it, right? Identify one productive and successful habit that you could begin to adopt that's going to position you for success. I'll end it by saying this. Success and failure are both a result of habit. It's all a matter of what you do consistently. That's what's most important, right? It's not about what you do every once in a while. It's about what you do consistently. Aristotle once said, excellence is not an act, it's a habit. a habit that we develop, right? Meaning you cannot expect to just show up for the opportunity and produce at a level of excellence if you haven't prepared for it. You have to consistently put yourself in the best possible position to be conditioned to produce excellence. And this is all built through habitual behavior and you focusing your time, energy, and resources on developing successful and effective habits. If you slid into this broadcast and I was unable to give you a shout out, be sure to comment below. And if, in fact, Felicia says, I'm in my sociology class right now, tapped into my cell phone. That's all right. You're receiving some form of value, so I'll give you a pass this morning. But if, in fact, you are new to the broadcast and here for the first time or your first time in a long time, put a number 1 in the chat and then place your first name afterward. I want to be sure to shout you out at some point in time before we wrap up today's conversation. Colleen, New Jersey is in the building. Great day to you, sis. Glad to have you tapped in live. And my apologies, family, on the comments and the chat section. Not for sure what's going on. Again, we had some technical difficulties. But nonetheless, we pushed through, we persevered, and found out how we can get this message out there and share the inspiration with leaders like yourself. In fact, if you did find value, please share this out with the people that you personally care about. If you're watching this on Facebook, tag somebody in the chat. Send this out to your entire network. You can share this with everybody that you're connected to. For those watching this on LinkedIn, you can do the same. For those watching on YouTube, hit the like button if you would, please, and then share the link out with at least 3 people that you personally know that can benefit from something that we discussed during today's conversation. Also, if we have yet to connect on other social media platforms, be sure to connect with your boy. I'm at D1 Gibson on Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter. Also available on LinkedIn, and be sure to tap into my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/David Gibson. Also, for more information on my coaching services and speaking services, visit the website at elevationisAmust.com, as well as take advantage of all the resources that are available. Some for free, some you have to invest money for, but I promise you will be of value to you and help you grow mentally, physically in some cases as you apply some of those principles, as well as overall becoming the best version of yourself. Again, all of that is available at elevationisAmust.com. With that being said, let's wrap this thing up. Remember, you got dreams to catch and success to create, so we each got to be busy being great as we step into this Monday. Now, as we wrap up this broadcast, if in fact you find yourself in a very challenging position, a difficult situation that you're learning to navigate right now, maybe as you're navigating these challenges, you feel like giving up. I want to talk to you personally. Don't you give up on what's possible. Don't you give up on what you value. Don't you give up on your vision. Don't you give up on your dream. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. So as it gets rougher, I want you to get tougher and stay locked in. One thing that's guaranteed is if you give up, you'll never get there. But I promise you, if you stay the course, take it one step at a time, and you keep pushing, eventually you will find a way to get there. You got to hold on to that belief, right? You got to hold on to that belief. I'm going to find a way to figure this thing out. I'm going to find a way to rise above this challenge. I'm going to find a way to reclaim my health. I'm going to find a way to come out of this slump. I'm going to find a way to fight for my joy. I'm going to find a way to build this business. I'm going to find a way to build my career. I'm going to find a way to get that degree. Whatever you are working towards, let that be your mantra as you step into this week's opportunities. Find a way, right? Find a way. If you can't find one, I want you to create one. But most importantly, understand whatever you're experiencing, this too shall pass. So don't you make a permanent decision that's based upon a temporary circumstance. No, you stay locked in on what you value and you find a way. If nobody else tells you that they love you today, remember your brother from another mother, D1 Gibson, has nothing but love for each and every single one of you. With all of that being said, family, it's Monday. New possibilities, endless opportunities. Let's be mindful of how we're showing up. Be mindful of your daily habits. Eliminate those habits that do not serve you. Let's adopt some habits and practices that align us with our vision and our purpose and our goals. With all of that being said during this discussion, most importantly, as we wrap this thing up, I challenge you to be effective, be successful, live with some passion this week, and most importantly, 3 pounds to your chest, family. 1, 2, 3. Be powerful. Thank you all for tuning in and tapping in during today's broadcast. Again, my apologies for the technical difficulties. Hopefully, you found value in this broadcast. Until next week, next Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll see you then. But in the meantime, be powerful again. Have a phenomenal Monday, family. Peace.
Make it. I can see my shot is here, so now I'm gonna take it. Gotta get up, get out, time to stand up, get loud, time to rise up off the floor. But I'm stronger than ever now, can't hold me down no more. I'm waking up, 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 I'm waking up. So I'ma do it right now.